Hi and welcome everyone. I am Friar Tuck and this is my epoch. Okay, so I'm trying to make this my staple in the background, this bridge here. All right, so today is gonna be talking about the gear that I have, the gear that I've recently purchased. And part of the reason why I'm gonna be talking about it is if you watched a few videos ago where I talked about the most important gear for a hobo or for a traveler, a nomad, a homeless person to be able to have is specific gear, and one of it was a backpack. So I'm going to be showing you the Teton. I'm going to be showing you my winter gear. The only thing that I don't have that I actually need to come out of pocket for currently, and if you guys would like to help me through crowdfunding, link is down in the description. But I need to get me two thermal suits for the winter, one to wash, one to wear, and I need to get me a bivy bag, and it's going to cost me about $150 more. I'll be able to come up with it on my own, but if any of you guys want to kind of help me get it quicker, just go ahead. It's down at the tip jar is down in the donation, or it's down in the description. But anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna show you the Teton and kind of explain to you why I like it and why it was an important purchase versus what I did have. Okay, guys. So here is the Teton Sports Explorer 75-liter backpack. Okay, so I want you guys to see the reason why I got this. As you can see, here are the two carabiners that I ordered. These things are heavy duty. It has a top compartment here, also has one underneath here. As you see, this also expands, so it's 65 liters plus a 10-liter expansion. You also have little side areas here where if you want to stuff something, you can, as you can see here. And you know, I can put whatever I have in this compartment here. I have my tablet, and there's more than enough room. I even have my selfie stick in there. In this one, I had more than enough room to be able to house my whole first aid kit. As you see, that's my whole first aid kit, and it's got a lot of stuff in it because I've been working on stocking it up. This here is just my tobacco and some other personal items, and then over here is my miscellaneous side. All that I have in here is because of just the way that it's set up right now. I'm still trying to figure out how to attach the sleeping bag to the outside, but I won't need to do that until I actually fill up the pack. However, with the way that this is set up, I'm still looking to figure out a way to attach the sleeping bag to the outside, and that's going to take me a minute to figure out. Now, let me show you some other things in here. So as you can see, we have the adjustable sternum strap, and then you also have padded here. It also comes with the little pouch bag there. That also comes on the mountain one, but that one is mesh versus being water resistant. But as you see, here's where the hood entry is, so if I need to reach over my head, I can do that. Now, it does take a minute to be able to adjust the pack to where it fits right for you. But right now I'm carrying about 25 pounds, and everything has its own compartment to where almost nothing goes in here. The only thing that's in here is my sleeping pad, my blanket, and my sleeping bag, because everything else is in one of those little compartments. Now I have the ability to be able to fill up my pack how I need to make sure that I have the right gear. Now, 75 liters is about 10 liters more than I need, but I have it here just in case. So anyways, I like this backpack, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about it here in just a minute. One of the things that you guys heard me talk about as important gear, most important gear that somebody who's traveling, who's outside could have. And this is the reason why I showed you guys the Teton. Now, it's not the most expensive. The most expensive and the best quality would be an Osprey, but it's not also bargain basement like what that Jansport was. This is middle of the road. So you guys have got to see the difference between how a bargain basement backpack works versus going and getting one like that's a few bucks more, maybe $20-$30 more than what you paid for that cheap Jansport that they offered. Now, a pack is important because you need to be able to compartmentalize. You need to be able to have your stuff in the right spot. One of the most frustrating things with the JanSport was that everything had to go into the hood compartment, and so therefore it was just a giant magnet of everything that I had, from electronics to other things to my first aid kit. Everything was there. Even my lunches would go up there, and it was a pain to get in and out and get on and off. This here has padding around the hips, which the JanSport did not. That's the difference between a mid-grade versus a low grade, is that they're going to start stepping up certain comfort factors. Also, it takes a few minutes because the thing is, you're using a pulley system to be able to put that backpack on you and to be able to spread the weight between your shoulders and your chest and your hips. So it takes a minute to be able to get that completely set up properly. And so you're going to probably spend, if you're in a situation like this, it's probably going to take me about 2 weeks before I get it fitting absolutely perfect. Now, I did make some big differences because I went and watched the videos on YouTube, but it is something that is important to have, is not only something to where you can carry the gear that you need to carry, but is also going to be able to allow you the opportunity to be organized. Because just throwing everything in a pack that just has like this bottomless hole, it becomes very hard to find things. Things get ruined, things get destroyed, things like that. And that's something that I don't want to be able to deal with. It does also have a bladder pouch compartment, which that's what I would use for my laptop. And so now I feel comfortable that if I want to go get my laptop, that I can get it, and that it will be in it'll be in a safe compartment. But I'm going to wait until springtime to get my laptop out. I mean, I've been debating on whether I just want to go with a tablet and just get me a keyboard and mouse, or if I want to just get the laptop out. They're both going to cost about the same. One is more ergonomic than the other. But anyways, now that I have talked about a bag, which is probably the most important thing, because I can't carry anything without my bag. Okay, so all of this would have to be carried individually with different bags, different backpacks, and all kinds of other stuff. So having a large enough bag to be able to carry the stuff that you need to is extremely important. So the next most important piece of gear, and the reason why I got the Hizynice, okay, so the Hizynice does have the compartment in it. It's almost invisible. You can't see it unless you feel around for it. It is big. You could probably fit 2 people in it if they're healthy weight, not overweight, but kind of maybe no more than 10-15 pounds overweight. You could fit 2 people in this sleeping bag very easily. It'll keep you warm. It is comfortable, and it is $20 less than the Teton bag, which is basically the same thing that this bag is here. So if you guys have seen me talk about the Teton bag, and if you looked at earlier videos, now the reason why I got a 0 degree versus a negative degree is because you look how big that is. That's 6 point something pounds, almost 7 pounds. All right, that is a lot of weight just for your sleeping bag, and that is the one luxury item that I get. And to make sure not only that I'm warm, but I have the space. Because one of the things I don't like about most sleeping bags is they almost make you feel cramped. And if you're not skinny, then you don't fit into them well. And I mean, I've lost a lot of weight, but it's still a big, it still is a pain in the ass. Because I mean, I got room in there. I had room in my 20 degree bag by the end of the winter, but it was still a pain in the ass up until that point in time. All right, so the next thing that I got out is, as you can see, look how deep that well is. And as you see down in here, so I got newspapers there and I got my notebook there. So as you see, I have my blanket here. This here goes underneath my sleeping pad. It's the only reason why I kept it. It is, well, it's not really a blanket. It is considered a poncho liner, but the reason why I use this is because I want it to go underneath my sleeping pad, because you actually technically, I was reading online, is when you when you have a sleeping pad, it's good to have something underneath it to help it retain its heat, because if it's a cold ground, then it has a hard time being able to give you that 10-degree cushion. And just having it underneath my my sleeping pad the other night, I could definitely feel the difference in the heat that it gave off, and I was sweating, and I kind of had to take the sleeping bag off. Okay, so but this is what really complements it here. As you can see, this is my sleeping pad. Okay, now why would I choose this sleeping pad? Because I used it last year. It was good last year. It is high enough rated, even though it dropped from a 5 point something to a 4 point something. It is still something that is necessary. Okay, it still is something that is usable. Like I said, I got my 10 degrees from it. Once I get a bivy bag, it's going to change the dynamics of all of this, and it'll have to get down in the 40s before I can actually put all of that on, just to not sweat in it, just because of how much heat I'm able to retain by choosing simple gear to be able to carry around. And the bivy bag really isn't going to be bigger than the sleeping pad right there. And so when time comes, I will have plenty of room to be able to put everything else that I need to put in here, and my bag will be on the outside. And so I'll have the space to be able to carry the gear, to carry the food, to carry everything that's necessary for me to be able to get on the road if I need to. But at least I have the foundation to be able to live the urban lifestyle currently. So, you guys know why some of the gear I have, but it is important to always have a first aid kit, not necessarily for yourself, but for others that you come across. Somebody will always need patching up, bandages, and some sort of disinfectant. So having something like that on hand is most important. Okay, so the pillow is so small, it just fits in a little miscellaneous. As you can see, it fits in the palm of my hand. Part of the reason why I got this versus getting the Teton pillow that I had last time is that the Teton pillow took up too much space and it really wasn't that good. This, it's guaranteed firmness because I blow it up every night, and it goes to my liking, which I like to be firm. Now the difference between this and a standard pillow that you use is that you want to put it underneath your sleeping bag, underneath the hood there, and kind of use it as use the hood as a pillowcase. But this thing is really soft, and if you fit it in there right, it will stay there all night long. And it barely weighs anything. I mean, maybe it weighs about as much as a hacky sack, and it's a pillow for the night so that I can have my head and my back properly aligned, so that I can maintain my health. Some of you may look at the pillow as something that is extravagant, that is a luxury item that you really don't need, just use your bag, whatever. But the thing is when you're carrying this weight around, and if you're going to live this lifestyle, you need to be able to take care of yourself, take care of your body as best as possible. Not just eat well, but when you carry things, carry them properly, do proper lifting stuff. Because I still have to stretch in the mornings, and stretching in the mornings is important so that my back and the rest of my body doesn't hurt from carrying this weight around. Because as I start adding more and more weight to it, that's going to be more and more weight on my hips, because 80% of the weight is going on my hips, 20% of it's going on my shoulders. And so with that dispersion there, I got to make sure that my body stays in as best shape as possible, because if not, I'm going to be like one of those old men pushing around a walker and pulling a cart behind him, because my back's too wore out from not taking care of it. So if you're going to be out here, you're going to do this lifestyle, and you're going to do it by choice, either that or by circumstance. One of the most important things that I can tell you is that you want to make sure that you take care of yourself, and make sure that you do the necessary things to keep yourself healthy. But don't be so overly don't overdo it so much that you become extreme. Just be conscious about the things that you do. Understand that you're going to be exposed to bacteria. It has its benefits, but as far as your muscles and your bones and your overall health, make sure that you take care of it, because there is free medicine if you need it, even and there are places that do care, and so just make sure that you take care of yourself, because I didn't in the beginning, and I now that I'm older, I'm having to pay the price for it. Luckily, a few years ago I decided to change my ways, and my life is a little bit better. But one of the most important things that I wish I could have really driven home to myself at an earlier age is that regardless of your situation, there's always a way to take care of yourself. So always make sure to take care of yourself. Okay, so when I set up my camp for the night, one of the first things that I do is I put this down as a protector for my sleeping pad, because I don't want it to pop. It's an air mattress, so I don't want it to pop because of the stuff that's on the ground, so I put this down as a base. As you see, this is the way that it comes out after being folded up. Those two straps go around it to keep it in place so that you can put it in that cover. But there is a valve here that you turn, and you can probably hear a little bit of the air, but you open that valve and this slowly self-inflates. Takes about 10 minutes. It's going to inflate mostly, and then what you're going to have to do is blow in it about 5 times to kind of firm it up and give it that extra oomph, because the foam just doesn't pull enough air in to actually make it bounce the way that you would expect to. But for middle of the road, considering it's a foam pad, it works for what I need it to work for. As you see, this is the pillow here. There is a little button that's right here. It's a push relief. This is how you get the air out, but you just kind of okay. And as you see, it's kind of slippery. This is why, but as you see, I've got this here, and it's got a little cap here. But this is what I placed down beneath my sleeping bag, so that because I don't know, I found it's easier to sleep that way. Now, as you can see with the, hold on, let me show you. As you can see with the whole ergonomic thing here, as the tilted head, it's meant for your shoulders to kind of help you align your back. I mean, this is basic $10 one. It's not like I spent a lot of money on it, but having this underneath the hood is much better, and it stays in place better, because what I do is I prop it up against the bag, and then I prop my shoulder up against it to kind of hold it in place, because this thing is slippery as slippery can be. You can see it's fully inflated, and as you see, even little holes are starting to pop out, but it's fully inflated, and now I'm ready to put the sleeping bag on. So as you see, everything I have is black. Now see that red plaid though, you don't get to see that because of the way I end up rolling up in it at night. And I don't know, I've managed to not have that part showing. But as you see, I also have a black bag. I have, everything is black. Now some of it has the reflective stuff on it just because it's made for camping and it's meant for safety. But if you are trying to be stealth, as you can see, in the dark, they can't really see you, especially if you're under the covers. And so I've got the sleeping pad, got the pillow, and I got the sleeping bag. And as you see, it's twice the size of the sleeping pad, so it covers up pretty well. So the only part is that I have problem with is, as you see how tilted this is, so I slide down at night. I end up down here, and I have to crawl myself all the way back up here every night. Hi guys, I hope I pieced this together well for you, and I hope that I was able to kind of show you the importance of the gear, why you want to spend what you spend on your gear. I laugh and make a joke that my bed is worth $150, but a lot of that is a sleeping bag. It's like it was like 80 some odd dollars, almost $90, and then you have the sleeping pad, which was $40, almost $45. And then you've got the pillow, which I actually haven't got to show you, and I'm going to show you here in a second. But all the links are going to be down in the description. And if you would like to be able to get this set up for yourself, if you want to say, hey, look, I want to be able to go outside and I want to be able to do it without looking like a complete slob and be able to be comfortable and survive, even though I got to be outside, this is the gear that you're going to want. This is the gear that will last you through the winter. Now, you will have to do consistent gear replacement because you're outside all the time. Okay, so just remember that, you know, it's about replacement costs, and so sometimes you got to weigh the cost versus the versus how much use that you get out of it when you factor that in, especially if you have to replace things quite frequently. But that's why I always go for middle of the road stuff. I don't go for the top stuff like Osprey. I don't go for the bottom stuff like, you know, let's say a Jansport. Okay, I go for middle of the road, and that's very, very important if you are going to be choosing gear, being economical about it, especially if you have to come out here during the winter. Now, during the summer, a couple of things would change. Instead of having that sleeping pad, I would go to one of the smaller sleeping pads that are 5 inches, but they take up less space and they weigh just a few ounces less. And I would probably go to a 20-degree sleeping bag, which means that it would be able to go in the sleeping bag compartment. Past that, that's the gear that I would keep with me for the remainder part of my journey, and just replace it as needed.